Man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Man, we are back at it again, doing what we do. We've been talking redraft. We've really just been talking football in general, going into the year, setting the stage, getting everybody ready. Thanks for listening, by the way, everybody. Me and Kraft, man, we really do love doing this. Enjoy hopping on the pod. You know, me and Kraft, we work a lot, so we can't get on all the time, but we love getting on here, dropping content, and doing what we do. Kraft, man, what's going on, man?
Just sitting on the porch, enjoying the weather for just a minute, and then back to work tomorrow. But as of right now, just excited to be talking football with you, man. Let's get to it. Getting to talking about my division tonight.
Yeah, we're skipping. We've done 3 of the AFC divisions. We still got the AFC East to knock out. Me and Kraft, we want to talk about something exciting tonight. So we want to talk about the NFC North.
We really want Chris on for the AFC.
Yeah,
East.
man, we need old Swizzy to get on because our resident Patriots hater, he's had some extreme things to say about the Patriots. So we really got to get old Christopher on for that episode. But Kraftman, everybody knows Kraftman is the Packers fan in the building. So we definitely about to touch on this NFC North. And I'm sitting here looking at it right now. I was just trying to think about who's all in it. This might be my favorite division to talk about this year. I mean, what's another one of those divisions that you want to talk about that are up there this year, Kraftman? I mean, the North is up there. Who else?
The NFC West is pretty stacked with the Niners, Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals.
Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, obviously, like these other divisions are good from real football standpoints, but we hopping on the NFC North. And we just really going to dive right on in there. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the gambling odds because Detroit right now is favored at plus 130. Green Bay plus 200. Chicago plus 330. That feels yucky. And then we got Minnesota at plus 1,000. A lot of excitement.
Boy.
A lot of excitement all the way through this division. We're going to start with Detroit. At the top. Didn't they win the division last year, Crabman? They took it away.
They did, yeah. It won't happen again.
So really, they win. Then Jared Goff, he gets money. Amon-Ra gets money.
And School gets money. They gave all their guys money.
Everybody gets money. You want money? Here's some money. Detroit, you really got it going on. I know Kraftman probably doesn't feel the same way, but I actually like that Detroit is good. And as a Falcons fan.
Detroit.
As a Falcons fan, I just think I look around the league and I always just laugh my ass off when I see these poverty franchises having success. And I just look at my Falcons and just will be like, what the fuck are y'all doing, man? Even Detroit got something going on. That's what I was saying. Like, I know it looks different now, but I was like, man, even the Cleveland Browns went out there and got Deshaun Watson. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But anyway, it's like, let's just hop on it. Detroit, Jared Goff, all of them got paid. Listen, this right here is probably one of my favorite teams to watch this football season. We got Amon-Ra out there. We got Craftsman, Jameson Williams out there. Sam Laporta out there. Listen, Amon-Ra, y'all already know how I feel about Amon-Ra. You can say what you want of him. People are skeptical again, but I'll tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this right now. You can put Amon-Ra in your starting lineup, and he's going to get you 20 points. And I'm not going to sit there and cry about it, not one bit, because the consistency, I just want everybody out there, because I know there's a lot of skepticism. I even talked to my sister's boyfriend. Maybe he'll tune into the episode. He doesn't really like Amon-Ra all that much. Sam Laporta's in the building. I just want all y'all out there, if you don't really like Amon-Ra, just go look at the game log and just spend 1 minute just looking at that game log real quick and tell me that you don't like Amon-Ra.
All you got to do.
Consistency. That's all I'm going to say about Amon-Ra is consistency. Does he have the upside on a game-to-game basis as a Jamar Chase or a CD? Maybe not totally, but is he going to goose egg you? Is he going to give you less than 10? The chances of that are pretty low. So Amon-Ra is like, he's up there for me. And redraft, I already told you, Crab, I'm picking at the 104 in our main. It's my main redraft league. Average Joe's, that's my most important redraft league. I'm at the 104. Amon-Ra will not slip past the 104, no matter what.
And I don't blame you one bit. You said he won't get you under 10. He did it one time, and he played every game last season. So out of 17 games, he scored less than 10 points one time. He's the most consistent player in fantasy football, especially in full PPR leagues. Like he's just not going to bust. Dan Campbell's a good coach. He got that offense humming. They're going to stay humming. And that's one of them offenses that you don't look at it from last year and say, oh, that was a fluke. Because what they do is they base everything on the run game, and everything kind of, spider webs off of that. So
yeah,
I don't see Detroit taking a step back unless some like Jared Goff goes down, or their offense is gonna be humming.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they've done out there, and we got, the hype will never die. The hype will never die. On my man Jameson Williams. Even the Craft Man loves him some Jameson Williams. It'll never die.
Yeah.
I will say this. Jameson Williams, I do think, could go out there and have a good game here and there. I think in best ball he's like wide receiver, like high 40s or something like that.
48 in sleeper right now.
48 in sleeper. So, like, is there a situation where I would take Jameson Williams? Yes. And is there a situation where he could have good games? Yes. But we got to see it. I mean, this dude has done nothing in 2 years. His value in Dynasty is, kind of, I ain't going to say stayed the same, obviously, but it doesn't, like, all the way fall off. He ain't QJ. I mean, who's lower on value, QJ or Jameson Williams? Probably QJ.
Yeah, QJ. It's definitely QJ.
But, like, Jameson Williams, even if people, I'll just put it like this. He has no, like, input on my decisions on Amon-Ra and Laporta and Jameer. Like, he just has no.
I agree.
He's just a good flyer that I would like to take, maybe, who could have some great upside. I mean, the talent. The talent is there. The only reason why I haven't really liked Jameson Williams is because it's just not Jared Goff's game. I mean, what Amon-Ra does, that's Jared Goff's game. What's Sam Laporta? That's Jared Goff's game. Jameer Gibbs, that's Jared Goff's game.
I agree. I agree completely. I think Jameson is a guy that I would definitely take a flyer on and just see what happens and see if he gets more involved with the offense. But like you said, it's definitely not going to be at the peril of any of the other guys like Laporta or, Amon-Ra Gibbs. It's just going to be, is it going to be this year that he steps up? Because I like the talent. I like the offense. And, if an injury occurs, he could really step up and be a top guy.
Now, with that said, even though I've, hated on him just a tad, what's his name again? The coach, Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
He has had some good things to say about him this year, and it does look like maybe grown up a little bit. So,
he's out of the doghouse. He's out of the doghouse finally.
And you know me, Craftman, I always talk about it all the time, being buttoned up. If you buttoned up, I'll take a fly. I'm all in if you button up. So it sounds like you might be buttoning up a little bit. So I'm good with it. Sam Laporta, tight end dynasty #1.
Off my board. Get him off my board.
Get him off my board, Craft Man. I ain't taking him in redraft. I have done best ball. There will be no Sam Laporta on my team. The price is way too high for me. Of course, everybody knows me and Kraft don't like tight ends, no way.
Still, though, it's different.
Go ahead, Kraft Man. So go ahead and preach on it a little bit.
It's just different than people want to look at it like it's like Travis Kelce. He's getting drafted at ADP 19. He's getting drafted in the middle of the second round or back of the second round. And sometimes in the early third. I still wouldn't take him in the third. There's multiple tight ends this year that you can get in the 6th round that I feel like can put up the same amount of points that Laporta can. And it's more of a positional advantage that you're looking for. And in the years past, Travis Kelce was that positional advantage. You got him in the first because you knew he was going to pace the tight ends by whatever 80 points on a season or 100 points on a season, and that does give you an advantage. But say Laporta does finish number one. What if the difference between the tight end 1 and the tight end 5 is 20 fantasy points, and you spent a second round pick on him instead of drafting a running back or a receiver right there? I just think he's going way too high.
Yeah,
but I do like him.
Oh man, I mean, we love him. I mean, who doesn't love Sam Laporta? I mean, in Dynasty, I would love to have him. Me and Craftman, when we're talking about off your board, we're strictly talking about redraft and best ball. Like, we don't want any Sam Laporta. He's a great player, and he's probably gonna have a great year. Jahmyr Gibbs, though, you know, we heard a little bit of news. He might be a little bit banged up, but Jahmyr Gibbs to the moon. I'm just gonna pretend like he might not even be hurt as far as us recording today, and he's gonna be there week 1 because Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna see an uptake in the workload. I think everybody expects that. Jahmyr Gibbs is one of those few running backs who has the upside to be the RB1 in a season. I mean, I'm not saying it's likely, but I'm just saying it could happen. And as far as David Montgomery goes, David Montgomery's good as hell too, and I would love him on my team too. So that running back room, everything, you just want a piece of this offense. That's pretty much all I can say.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gibbs just going to be great. I mean, Alvin Kamara with Mark Ingram in years past. You didn't flinch drafting Alvin Kamara, even though Ingram was there, and he still finished as a top 5 guy multiple times. And I do think Kamara is one of the better running backs that has been in the league in the past 10 years. But Jahmyr Gibbs is one of them guys where he's one of the best running backs you're going to see on TV this season. Every time he touches the ball, it's like if he gets a crease, he's gone.
Yep, I agree. This offense will be explosive, and they'll be competing for the division. And it's the Detroit Lions. It's Super Bowl or bust for them. They want to go for it all. They're going for it. I like what Detroit has done just as an organization. Period. I mean, they're doing their thing, and I can't complain not one bit about what they're doing. So, anything you want? Jared Goff, we haven't touched on Jared Goff. He'll be as fine as he'll have a fine season like he always does. Like, I know last year we was kind of saying he's really kind of up there, like in that Kirk Cousins range. Like, you got to start viewing Jared Goff a little bit more of a fantasy asset. Heck, especially in your superflex leagues. Like, Jared Goff's got to be in the conversation for your QB too, no matter what.
I think so too. And if you want to draft Jared Goff and redraft, and you can look at him as just a flyer that you can play at the start of the season. It doesn't get much better for schedule at the start of the year. He plays the Rams at home, Tampa Bay at home, Arizona, then Seattle, then comes back, has a bye week, and then plays Dallas, then Minnesota. Those are not scary defenses. A lot of them defenses were like bottom half pass defenses last year. So I think, especially them first 2 games at home against the Rams and Tampa Bay, Jared Goff kills it at home.
And I also saw a thing where I think it's like the Lions are playing like 13 or 14 games in a dome this year.
Yep, so, I heard that too.
Fantasy, I mean, good Lord. I mean, it could not just be more set up perfect for Detroit Lions as far as fantasy football goes.
I agree. I think we get on everybody on. We didn't miss nobody on Detroit. I don't think.
Nah, man.
That could be relevant.
Let's move on to the Go to the Green Bay Packers. And look, Craftman's a Green Bay fan, but I always tell Craftman, I have definitely spent my days in my youth pulling for the Packers over the Falcons. I love me some Brett Favre back in the day, and you can ask me in the poor man. We always love the Packers and love the Colts too. With the Peyton Manning days too, we used to love them days. It's like we're Falcons fans, but it's like when you're young, you just accept that the Falcons are ass. So you're really a fan of the other teams too. You know what I'm saying? But the Packers, man, I mean, everybody loves the Packers. But I guess Jordan Love, he got the bag this year. And then the main storyline around the Packers is this wide receiving room right here. I mean, They're loaded. They got guys. Let's see. Let's go and start from the top. They got Romeo Dubs. And they got Jaden Reed. They got Christian Watson. They got Dontavian Wicks. They got Bo Melton. They got
Luke Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave, what's the name? The other guy.
Tucker Craft.
So loaded with young talent, and I like what the Packers are doing too. I mean, they got a good group of a core of young guys, and they're just building it up right there. And I just love them doing it, the way they've done it. It's kind of like it's like one thing I think maybe a mistake with the Houston Texans this year, bringing in Stephon. You know, it might move it. It might kind of mess up your chemistry. You had a core of young guys. I mean, that you're all growing. Even guys that like John Mechie and stuff. You got a core of young guys that are just kind of growing up and building together. That's what the Packers are doing. And I fucking love what the Packers are doing. As far as their wide receiving room goes, this is what I've been saying, Kraft, man. I think Romeo Dubs will be the most consistent. And I think Jaden Reed will have the biggest games. Christian Watson, if the way I feel about him, he ain't even going to be on the field that much. I think that Joker's just going to be hurt, and I feel bad for him because he's got a lot of talent. And then Dontavian Wicks, your flyer that you want to take a shot on. I mean, the best ball bros love that motherfucker. Heck, I love him too.
All it takes is one guy to go down too, and he's a full-time starter. So I like all of them. I've actually risen up on Jaden Reed. It was a guy where I was like, I don't know, I might just get the cheaper guy, but come to think about it, I think I'm in on Jaden Reed the most. He's going as wide receiver 35. I don't think he's finishing that low.
No.
But you can tell that the fantasy community has no idea what these receivers are going to do. They're all Jaden Reed's the highest at 35, and you got Kansas City, like these big offenses like Houston. Houston got a receiver. I mean, Tank Dell, Nico's at wide receiver 15. Diggs is at 16. Tank Dell is at 26. And then you got the Packers guys in the 30s and 40s and 50s. And if you were to ask me what offense you think is going to be better, I really don't. I don't know if I could give you the answer to the Packers or the Texans. So
yeah,
I think taking a shot on any of these Packers receivers is a good bet.
Yeah, I want a piece of that offense. I was saying it when we were doing best ball. There's a few situations if you guess on it right, that's how you're gonna win some money. Like if you guess on the right Green Bay Packer, you're gonna win some money.
It could be none of them. I mean, I wouldn't say none of them, but a couple of them could be. Like you could have two wide receiver twos. Like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson could both finish as both wide receiver twos. There might not be a guy like one guy that finishes really high.
Yeah. Well, even if they got a couple guys that finish as wide receiver twos like that doesn't make me feel like, oh, I'm out on these guys as a whole, as a group of wide receivers. To me,
they're still beating ADP.
Yeah, so it makes me want them still. Like I've seen a lot of people say, well, they're not into the wide receiving room, and I'm just thinking, how can you not be? I don't understand why you wouldn't be. At least wanting some piece. Crap, man. I hate to say it. I said it last episode, but we listen to a lot of podcasts. Our guy Andy Holloway on the Footballers talk about Jaden Reed. He sees him as a perennial top 20 guy. And that was just by the eye test. So
and red zone usage they were pointing out too.
So it's like all these guys, and me and you thought Romeo Dobbs has been solid from the jump. So I don't know. I know there's some skepticism on the wide receiving room, and then there's some people that love the wide receiving room. I'm one of those guys. I love it, and I think the person that I want the least though is Christian Watson, and that's just strictly health wise. All the other stuff, he does feel like he could be real good, but I don't know about him,
And even him, he's still worth picking. He's going. We just talked about Jameson Williams. I mean, he's right there with Jameson Williams. So they're back to back in ADP. I just don't think. I mean, if you miss on the pick, like Jaden Reed, like I said, he's going as the RB. I mean, the wide receiver 35 in like the 6th round. Yeah, not a bad deal for me. No. I don't feel like.
I definitely can't complain with that. What about how do you feel about the tight end room in the passing game? Luke Musgrave he was one of those prospects that he was definitely viewed as a good wide receiving tight end, and I did see some good stuff from him, especially down the stretch. I think it was the playoffs. He had he was getting involved a little bit more. I'm not sitting here saying that, oh, go get you some Luke Musgrave. I mean, you can go get some Luke Musgrave. Hell, I got Luke Musgrave. I like Luke Musgrave, but the other tight end they got, Croft, pretty good too. I mean, it's just a good, solid tight end room. But any
Yeah.
kind of upside for those guys, or
No, I don't see a whole lot of upside for like Musgrave. I keep going back to the Texans, but like it's like a Dalton Schultz type thing. I mean,
yeah,
he's probably going to catch a couple touchdowns and he'll be utilized more. The Packers did run a good bit of 12 personnel last year with 2 tight ends on the field, but I feel like this year with the receiving core they got, they're probably going to go. And
yeah,
a lot of teams, the teams that have like quarterback play that they're not sure about, they run a lot of 2 tight end sets for extra protection and to run the ball more efficiently. But this year, I think they're going to unleash Jordan Love like they did in the back half of last year and just kind of they're probably
yeah.
going to play with a lot more 3 receivers on the field this time around.
What about the running back room with we got Josh Jacobs, we got AJ Dillon still in the building, and then they bring in Marshawn Lloyd. They use some day 2 draft capital. I think the 3rd round, right, Kraftman? He's a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy who liked Marshawn Lloyd. I thought he was really good, but even you got to take a step back. No matter how much you like a player, I don't really see him really threatening Josh Jacobs' play time. I know you said we just did our running back ranking episode, and you were saying the back half of the year could happen. I do think talent-wise he's really good, but as far as Josh Jacobs goes, Josh Jacobs, if you like Josh Jacobs, there's really no reason to be. I don't think there's really any reason to be worried about him. A new team, the offense is flying. Josh Jacobs is going to be a big part of that. Gonna get the goal line work. He's gonna do it all, and the competition behind him is really not stiff at all. So Josh Jacobs got to be up your boards. I'm trying to move him up my board as I speak. He's gonna be pretty good this year. I don't really know where I see him. I don't really even see top 10 upside, but I do see him as a solid, good running back I would want on my team as my RB2.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there that Josh Jacobs is kind of a figure that people want to call out and put way down their rankings or move them way up. They want to make their call on them. And I just think this is one of them guys that you probably shouldn't do that with. I think that it's just going to be pretty consistent, and he's going to score. He's going to be a good fantasy player, and he's probably going to get close to returning where he's going in ADP, like running back 12, 13. I'm with you. I think he's probably going to finish around that area. I mean, Aaron Jones for years he's had a couple RB5 finishes, RB4 finishes. Josh Jacobs could, opportunity his way up to good RB1, but I just don't. I'll just point everybody in the opposite direction when they try to move him down to like RB20. I'm like, y'all just trying to get some clickbait or something because he ain't gonna finish that low.
Jordan Love, got to touch on him real quick. Got the bag this year. I was telling Kraftman there was a point. I said it when we were doing our little weekly episodes during the season. There definitely came that point where you just knew Jordan Love made a turn for the good. It was just like you could tell he's confident. He's back there. It was just like bam. He just takes a step up as a quarterback, and you just knew like, okay, this dude's definitely about to succeed, and he's definitely about. I mean, when the Packers paid him, I wasn't even surprised a little bit. I know there's a little bit of skepticism on Jordan Love, just a tad bit, but there's also those people out there that love Jordan Love. I like to try to stay in the middle. I think Jordan Love is good, and I think he's here to stay for the next whatever 7, 8, 9 years. He'll be here, and these young guys will be here with him. And I think as far as like where is he going in sleeper craft, man? Do you know?
Yeah, he's going as a QB 10. He is going at ADP 86. So you're talking about like 7th, 8th round. And just to put that in perspective, you can get Jordan Love in the 8th. You can get CJ Stroud in the 4th. I mean, which one are you gonna go
You
with.
know me. It's not even close to me. In fact, CJ Stroud's another guy. I'll take him off my board. A lot of guys,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of like CJ Stroud is kind of like how Joe Burrow was. I mean, I literally compare them two. They are so similar to me, Joe Burrow and CJ
I
Stroud.
agree.
Even
Yeah,
stack wide receiving rooms and all that. But Jordan Love, it's not even close. I would definitely take Jordan Love in the what'd you say, the eighth round?
yeah.
I mean, I personally have not taken Jordan Love just because I've gone different directions, like with Kyler,
Tyler or Dak or something.
and then maybe even cheaper later on. But Jordan Love is sitting at a great spot where he's definitely like if I'm sitting there doing my redraft league with you guys, and things unfold like how I'm not expecting, I'm definitely willing to make a pivot to Jordan Love. You know what I mean?
He was the QB5 last season, and that's kind of the reason I have just picking him that late is I think he's still got tremendous upside with the receivers that he has, and I think it's a pretty decent value. But like you said, I've been getting Kyler a lot. We'll do our QB rankings later, but
Yeah,
Dak Prescott's right there too. So I haven't got him much, but I definitely don't blame anybody for snagging him up and waiting a little bit on quarterback for sure.
yeah. Anything you want to add to your Packers?
No, I think we touched on it.
Next, we got Chicago. And listen, crap, man, I'm looking at these odds, and people are just. I mean, and then I'm hearing some stats that they think Caleb Williams might put out, and I just think people need to slow their roll on the Chicago Bears just a tad bit. I know you and Ian got on here and said some things about what Chicago is, and I pretty much like agree with those kind of talks, like what organizations are and the way they do things. But I do feel like this could be the turn for Chicago. Like I actually like Chicago from a dynasty point, but in redraft, this is getting way out of hand. I mean, there are people out there for real think Caleb Williams is about to put Patrick Mahomes' numbers up in year one. I think Caleb Williams will be good, but I mean, look at what we're talking about. Look at this division we're talking about. This guy's about to go out there and do Patrick Mahomes stuff in the NFC North. Like, no fucking way. I don't believe that. But I do believe he'll be good, and we'll see him do some good things this year. But redraft, I mean, he even in best ball, he's going up there in like QB what 7 or I don't know, but it's ahead of Jaden Daniels, but it's top 10. I'm not touching that. Um, but real quick, they got it. DJ Moore, they brought him in last year. They brought in Keenan Allen this year, and then they used the seventh
I think
overall, ninth overall
nine.
pick,
I think it was 9. Yeah.
ninth overall pick on Rome and Dunze. Brought in DeAndre Swift, gave him a little money, and they still got Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson. What are your thoughts, Kraft man?
I don't like the Bears at all. Can't stand
Yeah,
them. But I mean, I know Ian's down on Caleb Williams. I'm down on him for this year. This is his rookie season. He could have a good year, and it would be a good year for a rookie quarterback. And
yeah,
that's where I'm gonna leave it. A good year for a rookie quarterback. We just talked about the Packers receivers. Jaden Reed was at wide receiver 35. All the Chicago receivers are ahead of that. They got three
insane.
receivers with a rookie quarterback, all in the top 36. And that's just not going to fly. He's not going to support three guys. He may, at the most, support two. And I haven't been drafting any of them. I don't like the price of
Nah,
DJ Moore. I don't like the price of Keenan. And I really don't like the price of Rome Odunze. I think Rome's super talented, but I'm not
yeah.
paying that. I'm not paying that price on Rome Odunze. He's
Heck,
going very close to players like Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, Amari Cooper. I mean, that's not even a conversation for me.
yeah. I pretty much agree with what you said. Like I like Rome Odunze. Heck, I'm as high. I think Rome Odunze is gonna be the best wide receiver on this team eventually. This year, man, that dude could not be anywhere near my board. I mean, we'll do our rankings and heck, probably one of our next couple episodes. I ain't drafting Rome Odunze. I don't even expect him to be even that good this year. The only player that I would really like is DJ Moore, but where's he going at? He's going up there with what? Is he going up there with Brandon Ayuk and all those guys like that? Or
Yeah, he's down. He's right there with like Debo, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, DK
that's
Metcalf.
That's not even a discussion for me. You know what I
Cooper
mean?
Kupp.
Like, truly not a discussion for me. All those guys. And I really don't see Caleb Williams supporting 2 wide receivers this year. I think one of them might have some good, I'll put it like this, crap, man. This might be a hot take. I was just kind of thinking about it, just reading them or whatever. Just reading, I watched some clips of the Bears, but you just kind of thinking, I was just thinking, what could the Bears look like? And I was thinking, DJ Moore might be the best. He's going to have the most receiving yards. I think Keenan Allen might could have the most targets, maybe. And then
I
maybe
can see.
Roman Dunze might could slip in the end zone some if you're lucky for a rookie season. He might could get some touchdown grabs. That's really how I see that wide receiving room. But it's like you said, those guys ain't. They're not. I don't know. They're not on my board. I don't want them in redraft this year. There's not a single one of them I would take. Maybe Cole Kmet at whatever round he's going in at tight end. You could slide me a Cole Kmet.
That's the problem, is that I don't even want to get on here and try to be biased, but it just is what it is with the hype that the Bears are getting right now. I can't even think. I was sitting here racking my brain while you were talking, trying to think of a quarterback that supported 3 receivers. And I'm thinking of like the greats, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and these guys that had Tom Brady, with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, but there's not a third guy. And where's it going to go? Like you said, I think DJ Moore, maybe he might top 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, but you can't really give Caleb Williams, like Jordan Love threw for like 35 last year. You can't really put Caleb Williams up there throwing 35 touchdowns last season.
I think I
This
saw.
season.
I could have swore I saw a quote from one of the Bears receivers, or it could have just been any kind of reporter or whatever, talk about Caleb Williams going to have 3 receivers with 1,000 yards this year. And I was like, yeah, okay. I would like to throw some money on that one. The dude's not supporting 3 receivers like that.
Maybe in his future. I mean, if he's really that good, maybe.
But with that said, I don't want to sit here and just bash on the Bears. I do like DJ Moore. I do think DJ Moore will be good. And if you're in Dynasty and you've already had DJ Moore, man, you feel good. You feel good having him on your team. Roma Dunze, love me some Roma Dunze. I think he'll be great. He'll be a top 15 Dynasty wide receiving asset. I just don't like him for this year.
Exactly. You said it perfect. I don't dislike any of these players. Keenan Allen was like my main target last year in redraft. He was probably the player that I thought was the most undervalued out of all of them, but this year it's just different. And you just got to look at it that way. It's a rookie quarterback. Unless you can just start predicting everybody CJ Stroud, which I don't like to do that, because history tells me that's kind of an outlier type season.
And there obviously ain't hella CJ Strouds out there, you know what I'm saying? Or nobody would have QB problems.
Exactly.
Real quick, though, we'll touch on that tight end room real quick. Cole Kmet. I don't really even know who else is in there. It seemed like they had brought somebody
Robert
in.
Tonyan.
Yeah, okay. So really a nobody. Cole Kmet, though, I mean, he's fine if you like him. You know how we feel about tight ends. I'll take a shot on any of them at whatever their price is. So
you can stream him if he might be a streamer every now and again. And then DeAndre Swift, we talked about him in a running back episode a good bit. We're not real high on them.
No.
I think it's just going to be more of a committee than people think it's going to be.
I do think if you did have Swift, you got lucky that he got signed to like a 3-year deal or whatever. But I would sell him right there because I'm looking at a little 3-headed little backfield. I think Roschon, Khalil Herbert, they're all going to get the ball. And like you said in that running back episode, old Homer got in on the play. So it's like,
Swift's not that trustworthy. He's obviously not that trustworthy because he's on his 3rd team in 3 years. There's something that he does, whether it's pass protection or just not. He's not the most fluid. He's got a lot of athletic ability, but he's not the most fluid runner in between the tackles. He doesn't read holes that well, and I think Khalil Herbert's probably the better in between the tackles running back, or Roschon. But Swift has his role with this team. It's just not going to be. I just don't think it's going to be great for fantasy.
Caleb Williams, too high for me in redraft. He was your 101 and rookie drafts, though. That's all I got to say about Caleb Williams. We'll just see what he turns out to be.
I don't mind if he falls in redraft if you want to take a shot for him as your second QB. Like same thing with Jaden Daniels. I'd love to just grab Jaden Daniels in the 10th or 11th round and just see what he does. So I don't blame anybody for that. It's just the hype's gotten out of control.
Big time. Let's move on though, Kraft man. One final team to go over, and that is the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm not gonna say I have a lot to say about the Vikings, but I was shocked that Kirk Cousins was not coming back. NFL doesn't usually work that way. You know what I'm saying? They would usually bring their guy. Kirk Cousins was not sorry at not one bit. He was like a QB1 at some point in during the season last year. Justin Jefferson loved his guy Kirk Cousins, and I don't blame him. When the man's sitting there targeting you and you getting your run, I wouldn't be upset neither. I'd want him back too. He's gone. We had him brought in J.J. McCarthy, so we still got Justin Jefferson. We got Jordan Addison's drunk ass, and then we got T.J. Hawkinson coming off. He's not going to start the year, I don't believe. Had that injury, but still, he'll be in the mix towards the back half. Who'd you say, Kraft man? There was somebody that done sealed up that wide receiver 3 spot, didn't you? Somebody that looked good.
Well, this is more dynasty, but Jalen Naylor looks like he's in the lead for that third receiver role, which I don't know how much you can expect out of the third receiver for a team led by Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy at this point. But for dynasty, I think he's worth an ad anyway. He's still young, and this is his second year in the league. So that's more of a dynasty pickup right there.
As far as Justin Jefferson goes, listen, I obviously love Justin Jefferson. I mean, who doesn't? Redraft wise, going this year, rookie quarterback, and and Sam Darnold. And I was talking about I like to talk fantasy football with people, even the people who just play new and or are kind of new to the game. And my sister's boyfriend, okay, shout out to him. He was talking about Justin Jefferson, like he's him and stuff like that. And I was thinking, you need to be thinking about where you're going. He's talking about taking Justin Jefferson as a top 5 pick in redraft. And I'm just thinking, you really need to be discussing if you want to take him or Puka Nacua with your ass. But I was kind of just kidding about that one. But this is the truth, though, Kraft, man. If we're in redraft and I'm staring down the barrel at A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson, I'm taking A.J. Brown this season.
I agree. I agree. I hate it too because Justin Jefferson's that talented, and people will back it up. Nick Mullins, he was fine with him last year, and I do think if it was a different team, like if we're talking about a team that doesn't have a good offensive mind, Justin Jefferson would be way down my board. But Kevin O'Connell is keeping him afloat because whoever he puts in there at that quarterback position seems to perform for fantasy purposes. And they did, and Justin Jefferson performed just fine with Josh. Well, he wasn't with Josh Dobbs, but Mullins last year. So I still think he's going to be just fine. But the top, he can't finish at number 1. He can't finish at number 1. And I would take Amon-Ra over him, no questions asked. And I would take Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown over him probably. And then we can talk about where Justin Jefferson's going to go.
Right. Agreed 100%. Obviously, great. Jordan Addison, I'm a Jordan Addison guy. I don't really feel any lower on Jordan Addison today. I mean, I saw J.J. McCarthy. I was even thinking when they brought him in, I thought it could be okay for guys like Jordan Addison and Hawkinson, but it would be bad for Jefferson. I don't even know if I really feel that way about now. I mean, it looks like J.J. McCarthy's doing this thing a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. It's funny, I don't even talk about Sam Darnold. He's just there for a little bit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Jordan Addison's solid. I think he's as good as a wide receiver 2 as you can get. I don't really fear him a little bit. But it's, and then we got T.J. Hawkinson. So really the whole discussion of the motherfucking Minnesota Vikings is J.J. McCarthy to me. The whole thing. And me and you both said we didn't really like him. I didn't really like him like that. But I do want to see how he does. And I saw some clips of him and he looked, I mean, I know they're just clips, but he throws an interception and then he bounces back and he throws a touchdown or 2 or something like that. Then he looks solid. to me, that's kind of like what you want to see. Like, okay, he fucked up at first, but did he fuck up and keep fucking up? Nah, he went out there and said, okay, I fucked up. He went out there and he did it and, did what he had to do, looked solid. So he might exceed my personal expectations just a little bit.
I agree with that. I mean, it was just one preseason game, but just the things I took away from that was his arm is a lot stronger than I initially thought. I figured he was going to come out there and play very conservative, but he was pushing the ball down the field a lot, 2 deep touchdowns. And I think that just Kevin O'Connell's going to put him in a situation to succeed. It's really the offense that he's in, but Minnesota's schedule is freaking brutal. I could definitely see them starting off like 1-8. They got the Giants in week 1, which they could take that one. And then they got San Fran, Houston, Green Bay, the Jets, Detroit, the Rams after that.
Yeah, they're fucked. They're just done. I wouldn't expect much from Minnesota this year. That's all I'm gonna say from real football. Can't put no money on them.
Not plus 1,000. Not with that start of the schedule right there.
No,
That's why Sam Darnold's just going to go out there and
he's
going to be gone after the bye week.
He will be. I agree. Running backs.
Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler.
Listen, I said it in the running back episode. Aaron Jones is pretty much off my board. I don't really feel good about any of them. Ty Chandler, fine. I mean, it's a fine handcuff, I guess. Kevin O'Connell's really he wants to sling the rock. Let's just see what happens. I mean, I didn't really think J.J. McCarthy fit that, but now that it's here and now that, he's going to put him, like you said, he's going to try to put him in the best position to succeed. And for him, that's throwing the ball. So we're about to see J.J. McCarthy throwing the ball a lot. Now, I don't really care about the running backs like that.
Yeah, I mean, last year, it was about as good a situation as you could have got with Kirk Cousins there and then Madison, which Aaron Jones is a lot better now than Madison, don't get me wrong, but this offense just doesn't function around the running backs. They really haven't since O'Connell's been over there. So I think Aaron Jones can have some games, but it's just not going to be consistent enough. He's, like we said in the RB episode, he's lower on both of our boards than he is in ADP. He's not a guy that we're trying to go after, but we kind of touched on Jordan Addison a bit. He's going as a wide receiver 36, and I'm all about that. I'll take a chance on that.
I think Jordan Addison's
a good player. He won best receiver in college. What was his? Not his last year, but the year before
with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, so he's definitely a good player. It's
funny.
Can't claim you support 2 guys.
It's funny, Kraft. We were doing our best balls, and hey, if you want to play best ball, hit me and Crab Man up. We'll drop best balls 6 out there for y'all if y'all want to do it. But we were doing those, and I was at work, so I set me up a little queue or whatever just for my next pick, and it ended up these people picked the players that were on the queue, so then I ended up auto drafting Jordan Addison, and I was like, son of a bitch, I can't believe it. I had a perfect draft going until I got Jordan Addison. So I don't really know how I feel about him at his ADP. He's kind of up in the air for this year for me. I don't fear for him.
Let me name a couple players around him.
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to me, Kraft Man.
Jordan Addison, Xavier Worthy.
I'm taking Addison.
Chris Godwin.
I'm taking Addison.
Rome Odunze.
I'm definitely taking Addison. What's some more?
Okay. Rashid Rice is there, but I think he's going to fly up ADP.
Yeah, I agree.
Jaden Reed's right there. I think I'd rather have Jaden Reed.
Yeah, I think I would. That might be the cutoff right there then.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley.
I'm taking man. Listen, man. I think I'm gonna say Addison, but I don't know. I mean, didn't Will Levis look good the other day? Have you heard that?
I think he's been playing pretty. I hadn't heard much, which is better than
it ain't out
better than hearing bad shit.
So
Will Levis top 5 QB this season.
We'll see. I did tell old P. Miller because right when he scored them 4 touchdowns, I sold Will Levis for a 1st-round pick, but I started seeing some news that he was looking all right, and I was like, damn, Phil, if he comes out there and does his thing, you're going to end up winning that trade.
He's one of the guys that got ultimate potential. I'll give him that.
So, Crab Man, anything we want to say about the division? If you don't, make your prediction, man.
All right, I ain't got much else. I think we hit on that, but I mentioned the last one, TJ Hawkinson. If you got an IR spot, you can throw him in there. And as far as sleepers go in the division, you got anybody that you want to mention as far as any of the teams that we said, just a player that you don't mind drafting, like a Bo Melton or somebody around that range or something?
I was just about to say, you got it. Bo Melton's name's got to be in there, and then obviously I like me some Marshawn Lloyd, even though I'm kind of tailed off, and that's more dynasty. That's not redraft at all. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like the Bears guys. That's pretty much the story, man. I love what Detroit and Green Bay got going on. You want a piece of them. You want to guess right on the Green Bay. You want to avoid Chicago, and then you want to
draft Detroit players.
Yep, and avoid and kind of fade JJ a little bit. Justin Jefferson. You want to. I can't even call him JJ no more, I guess, since they actually got a JJ on their team. Jefferson. I want to fade him just a tad bit. Other than that, that's pretty much how I feel about that division right there, Kraft, man. You ready? Let's make our predictions, though.
Let's do it. What you got?
I'm going to put my money on Green Bay. I'm just being honest. I don't really put money on teams that have won the division last year. You know what I'm saying? If you win it last year, you're going to go back to back. It happens, you know what I'm saying? But feels like the odds are Green Bay. I don't have no faith in Chicago, no faith in Minnesota. So I'm going to go Green Bay, Detroit. They're going to both be in the playoffs. And then I'm going to go Chicago, Minnesota.
I'm with you. I can't put... I'll just go ahead and say it's biased because it's definitely biased. Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota.
And Detroit's good now. And as far as value goes, I'll put some, if you really think Detroit's going to win it, which they obviously could, not bad money.
Yeah. Go ahead, finish. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nah, go ahead. Just double your money. That's all I can say.
I was just going to say I hadn't looked at the odds, but I wouldn't. Outside of San Fran, I would think Detroit probably has the highest odds of winning the Super Bowl in the NFC.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen the odds neither. We'll look them up at some point and drop an episode for your ass. But that about wraps it up, man, for the NFC North. We've knocked out half of the divisions. We still got one AFC to go and a few NFCs. Still hadn't talked about my Falcons yet. Might try to get some Falcons fans on here to really, juice it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying, Kraft, man? Really get the Falcons love in here.
Get all that bias going on.
But with that said, Kraft, man, you got anything to say to the folks out there, man?
Not much tonight. Just football's getting close. I know drafts are going to be starting up like probably this weekend all the way until season starts. So good luck on all your drafts and listen to what we got to say to you. And but still, fantasy's fun. Make your own decisions. And
man, I was just about to say, we say that all the time. We probably say that every episode, or at least every other episode. Do what you want to do. In the end, you can listen to whatever podcast you want. You can listen to the crew. You can listen to the big ones. But in the end, you need to just do whatever you want to do because it's probably a better decision than what you're listening to. Go with your gut.
And then when you win your championship, you can say, I'm the one who made these decisions.
And
I didn't just follow what everybody else said to do.
Matt and Craftman don't know shit because I did this and I won. That's what you really need to be like.
Exactly. So, you told me to draft Dameon Pierce last year and I didn't. And that's why I win.
Exactly. Well, shoot, man, that wraps it on up, man. Thanks for listening to the podcast, everybody. Remember, 5-star review. And if you really don't even want to do that, listen to the pod and then tell your buddy who likes fantasy football that, hey, listen to these guys. They're sitting on their back porch just talking fantasy football. 5-star review, yada yada. Crew Matt Hamm on Twitter. But with that said, I think we're out.
Peace.